Well, we are coming up on the celebration of the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. And what a better way to celebrate than with an incredible meal at the Inn at Hastings Park in Lexington. Joining us now, we have Trisha Perez Kennealy, owner and the culinary educator at the Inn. Thank you so much for being in the BZ Studios today.
Thank you so much for having me. We're so excited about the 250th.
Everyone is so excited. It's so special. For people who have not heard of this inn, they don't know they have this gem right here, right? Steps away from the historic Battle Green. What can guests expect when they stay there?
So we call it an inn because that's reflective of New England hospitality, but it really is a boutique hotel.
Okay.
22 guest rooms, a beautiful restaurant. We're part of Relais and Chateau, which is a beautiful French organization, hotel organization with hotels from around the world. We're the only one in the Boston area.
Lovely.
We're rated by Forbes. We have 4 stars, and we just got our first Michelin key over the summer.
Wow.
So they can expect very personalized luxury hospitality.
How exciting, and to think how close that is, right? And to be in this historic area.
I stand on the front porch of the inn and I can see the Battle Green.
It's so cool. You have a midnight ride dinner with a 4-course colonial feast. So tell us about this.
So one of my favorite parts of the reenactment weekend is the reenactment of Paul Revere's ride. And it wasn't just Paul Revere, William Prescott, Samuel Dawes. And we started doing this dinner where we would bring people to the inn and then we walk with lanterns over to the Hancock Clark House, which is very close to the green, where they reenact the arrival of Paul Revere.
So cool.
And it's told from the perspective of Paul Revere. He's reflecting back on his life and he's reflecting back on that incredible night in American history.
Oh my goodness. So during this colonial dinner, do people get to eat what Paul Revere would have been eating potentially?
Colonial-inspired fare. So what I have here is our beautiful lamb shank. Braising was a very important part of the culinary tradition. So this is a braised lamb shank with the beginning of those spring vegetables. We have spring onions, we have carrots, we have some beautiful watermelon radishes, all things that were here in New England at the time. And those hearty stews are really important because, like it is right now, we would expect that it would be 70 degrees in April, but it's still kind of in the 40s. So you kind of needed food that would nourish your soul and keep you warm. And we also have to remember that people worked so much harder in those days in terms of their physical body.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So this is also incredibly nutritious. So the other thing that's really incredible is that they drank a lot in colonial times.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So oftentimes laborers were paid with alcohol. They were paid with pints of beer or pints of rum. And so that night, a lot of the locals in Lexington who couldn't go back to their houses because they were too far, they actually waited in the Buckman Tavern, which is still, it's been beautifully restored. So along with this meal, there's some beautiful cocktails that are inspired by the rum cocktails. There were some punches called Flip. There were different beers that they drank. So we really want people to be able to have that experience when they come to this dinner.
Fully immerse yourselves.
Completely.
Is there a colonial era dish that's a favorite of yours?
So I actually really do love braised meats. It's a wonderful, wonderful way to cook. I actually, this is what the meat looks like. But as you can see, when it's cooked off, all of this sort of melts away and it makes it really moist. And again, too, like when you're cooking with bones, my title is culinary educator, so I'm always trying to teach people about food. There's incredibly rich nutrients that really can help strengthen and protect your immune system. And unfortunately, at that point, they were getting ready for battle.
Balancing it out with the rum drinks and the healthy bone broth.
Yes, they drank those drinks because apparently the quality of the water wasn't so good. But I am a little bit concerned about the fact that people would go out and work in the field after having their pint of rum.
Yeah, different work-life balance, I suppose, at that time. What are you most excited about? We were just chatting and you said you have been planning this quite literally for years, right? You've been a part of the plans for the 250th.
We've been working on this. We've been working on it in Lexington and across the Commonwealth for years. I'm really excited for people to sort of remember and celebrate some of the ideals that this country was started on. And I think that it's really important for us to pay tribute to people who were incredibly brave to stand up for the things that they believed in. And at that moment in time, 8 men lost their lives that morning, 8 men from Lexington, and there were several regulars, British soldiers who lost their lives that day. And they really stood up for what they believed in. And I think it's a really beautiful tradition that we remember every year. And it's always been one of my favorite weekends. And I think it actually might have been one of the reasons why I opened the Inn. I love this weekend. I love this history. And I think now more than ever, it's really important for us to celebrate those moments and remember what the United States is all about.
Well, you can tell how passionate you are about it. This bone, I'm getting like whiffs of the bone broth and it smells so, so good. So please, please, please go check out Hastings Park Inn. It's an incredible place. Trisha Perez Kennealy, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And for sharing your passion with everyone on the 250th anniversary.
Thank you. Happy Patriots Day, everybody.